Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron. We are back for another episode of the Courtside View podcast, and we are talking about the NFL, talking about the NFC North, giving our predictions for the NFC North. Today, we're talking about the Packers, Bears, Lions, and Vikings. The most competitive division in the NFL.
Are you good?
Okay, good. All right, so I'm gonna mute my mic and I'll see what's popping real quick.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Aaron and Brian coming at you with another episode of the Courtside View podcast, the coolest podcast in the DMV. And today we're going to be talking about the NFC North, breaking down the division, evaluating rosters, and we're going to get into a little bit of preseason action with the whole Shador Sanders performance. He was, but we're going to say that for a little later.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah. All right, we can start. Tweet this out. This is going to be a very difficult episode. This is going to be a very difficult one. Because there's a lot of questions. It's a lot of questions. Let's see here. Vikings. Bears. All right. Tweet is up. Let's get it started. All right. We counting down. In 3, 2, 1. What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
This is the Courtside View podcast, and we are back today to discuss my team, my division, the NFC North. But before we get to the NFC North, we are going to talk about what transpired yesterday. And that is the Cleveland Browns preseason game versus the Carolina Panthers. I wonder what happened, Aaron. What transpired? Oh, Shador Sanders. Oh, he started for the Cleveland Browns.
That guy got drafted in the 5th round.
Right. First preseason game. Yeah, he was with the 2s, he was with the 3s. Had the least amount of snaps, least amount of reps during training camp, and yet his first preseason game, he played the entire half. He was phenomenal. He did his thing. He had 2 touchdown passes. One was off a muffed punt return, I believe it was, by Trevor Etienne, I think it was, which is the brother of the running back for the Jaguars, who's also not very good. But anywho, we're not talking about him real quick. We're talking about Shador Sanders. Brian, your reaction to Shador Sanders' preseason game that happened yesterday. What was your thoughts?
My thoughts. Shador did exactly what I expected him to do because and I know he was a first round talent in this draft, a second round talent at worst. And the fact that the Cleveland Browns organization was playing in his face this entire offseason, just for him to go out there and hoop and shine anyway, hey, that's a testament to how good he is. And I'm not trying to hear this whole, it's just preseason. First of all, the Panthers were playing their ones on at some point early in the game. And two, if he stunk it up in preseason, would you still go, oh, it's just preseason? No, you would not. So I'm not trying to hear it. This man was out there making good reads, making some pretty impressive throws, was navigating the pocket. And even on that one play, it was like 3rd and 13 or something. He didn't get the completion, but we saw that mobility of him being able to escape pressure and escape the rushers. And lo and behold, like he's literally disproven. Like, it's really baffling to me because what was happening in those interviews, those team interviews, to where he fell all the way to the 5th round. The talent is there. We see it. Like, we literally see it on display. He's hooping out there with the 2s and 3s. So what is the excuse? Dylan Gabriel couldn't even hoop against his own teammates. He going live script like he was competing. I'm not understanding. This is just a testament to how badly run the Cleveland Browns organization is. And it's a daggone shame that they did this, and they might get rewarded with the good QB.
You make a lot of great points. Just to sum up what he did, these are his stats from the preseason game. He had 138 passing yards,
Come on, man.
2 touchdowns, 106.8 passer rating. Phenomenal. 14 for 23, 60%, nearly 61% completion percentage. But overall, I thought the throws that he made in tight coverage, especially in the end zone, was incredible. That first touchdown pass, unbelievable. The second one, unbelievable. And another throw that he made was, I believe it was, they were backed up close to their end zone, and the pass rusher was coming, and he stood in the pocket, and he slung that football, and he completed the pass for like maybe 15, 20 yards. And that's when I realized, I was like, yup, everything that I thought Shador was showed itself in that preseason game, because when I was watching him in Colorado, he was making the same plays. His pocket presence was one of the best in college. Matter of fact, it was the best in college football. He's very poised. He's not afraid to deliver the football when there's a pass rusher, when there's a defensive tackle in his face coming to rip his head off. He showed everything that I already knew about him. He validated everything. And I was very impressed with Shador this game. And a lot of people doubted Shador. People in the comment section, oh, he's not good. Oh, he's not being sabotaged. Like, what do you mean he's being sabotaged and everything like that? He's just not good. Okay, all right. Well, what I saw from that first preseason game doesn't look like a 5th round pick to me. It looks like a guy with either 2nd round or 1st round talent that just wasn't getting enough opportunities. And for him to be able to get the least amount of reps compared to the other guys from a day-to-day basis and to excel regardless of the circumstances is amazing, in my opinion. He was doing it with guys that are potentially not going to make the roster, guys that have like pianos on their backs in terms of a wide receiver. I've seen the clips in training camp. You've probably seen the clips of training camp where a wide receiver was wide open and the guy can barely run. If it was like Jerry Jeudy, he probably would have hit him in stride. But with this receiver,
I did see that. It was
he can barely run.
Yeah.
So these are the people he's working with, and he's still able to figure it out. He's still able to do well in these just dire circumstances. So salute to Shador Sanders. I also want to make something clear. When we're talking about the Cleveland Browns, we were talking about Shador, all these things. These are our opinions. These are things that we've gotten from just factual information, statistics that we've seen, reports that we've seen. These are not breaking news. We are not breaking any news. All we're doing is giving our opinion. So Any person in the comment section saying, "Oh, y'all are fake news, y'all are lying," this is our
How we lying when
opinions.
you pulled up all the stats of the thing? You literally had the stats ready to go and put them on the screen.
This is based on our assessment of the facts. We are not breaking any news. We are not reporters. This is just our opinions. Remember, this is a podcast. We're not reporters. We're not breaking any news. These are just information that's already on the internet, that's already been reported, and we're assessing it and we're analyzing it and we're giving our own opinions on it. I just want to make that very clear because I feel like people seem to think that we're reporting the news. No, we're not reporting the news. We're just assessing information that's already on the internet. And if you don't agree with our opinion, that's on you. Okay. I just wanted to make that clear. But yeah, man, Shador.
Hold on, one question. Henry in the chat. If he stunk it up out there against the Panthers, what was you gonna say? Would you still keep the same energy, or would you move the goalpost?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And I mean, and based on your logic, he's a 5th-round QB. Him doing good against that, wouldn't that seem accurate? If that's the case, he's a 5th-round QB, right? So he should, him doing good against that level of competition, that sounds about right. And how the Panthers the worst team in the NFL? They didn't even get the number 1 pick. Wait, did they?
No, they didn't get the number 1.
No, it was the Titans.
Yeah, it was the Titans. Yep. Panthers got the 7th. No, they got the 8th pick.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, remember they selected Ted McMillan?
Mm-hmm. Ted, he had a crazy catch on the sideline too.
Yeah, and Bryce Young was, you could really tell that they were trying to get him the ball.
Yeah, Bryce Young definitely a little more comfortable in that Dave Canales scheme. It's gonna be interesting to see how that offense works,
especially with Ted McMillan. It
might be over for Xavier Leggett. That brother.
Titans and Panthers are fighting for being the worst team. I don't know. Maybe the Browns might be the worst team. It just so happens that Shador is on the team and he made them look better. I don't know. The Dolphins there's a potential the Dolphins might be.
They said 2 out there was stinking up the joint in that joint practice.
Yeah.
And then whole Tyreek Hill stuff going on. I don't know, man.
He said, give him a few more preseason games before we start praising. What? No. We're not doing that.
We in the business of giving credit when it's due. And if they do, listen, if he stinks up the next 2 preseason games, we're going to get on him. But we just going off what we saw. We only got the 1 game see, so we're going to praise him for the 1 game we see. We ain't say he's going to save the franchise or anything. We just saying he performed above his expectations as a 5th-round pick.
Exactly. And we're not saying
getting
that
limited reps with the limited reps in training camp.
We're not saying he should be the starter. I'm just saying, hey, can he make the team? Can he be above Dylan Gabriel on the depth chart? That's all I'm saying. Come on now. That's the minimum. We're just giving the minimum praise.
Dylan Gabriel, if that injury clears up by the next game, how many quarters we're going to see him play?
I would say it should be 1. He should at least get 1 quarter. All I know is that if Dylan Gabriel doesn't look like that next game, if he doesn't look somewhat similar to Shador next game in terms of productivity, boy, it's going to look ugly out there. Because with 5 quarterbacks, you got Snoop Hundley, you have Joe Flacco, you have Kenny Pickett. If none of those QBs look like at least that, good luck.
Henry, I don't think you understand it. Yes, we understand it against the backups, but Shador is the backup. That's his level of comp.
Right. He's just trying to make the team, bro. He's just trying to move up in the depth chart. That's what we're looking at. It's nothing more, nothing less. We're not trying to make it seem like, oh, Shador should now be the starter. No, we're just saying, can he make the team? Can he be above Dylan Gabriel? because coming into the draft, everybody was saying Shedeur Sanders is QB2. Simple. But after the draft, he was a 5th-round pick. I mean, all right, if you want to say he's better than the Panthers backups, okay, but wait a minute. Wait. If he's better than the Panthers backups, isn't that helping us? Doesn't that mean that he's actually pretty good? He's better than the Panthers
I think what
backups.
Henry's trying to say is he has higher expectations because he slid so far in the draft. So him doing this isn't coming as a surprise to him. That's what I think he's trying to say.
Okay, so that's his expectation. That's fair. If that's his expectation, that's fair.
If you had a first round grade on him, this wouldn't if he was okay, let's put in context. In my opinion, he had a first round grade. So if he came out and did this as a first rounder, people would just like, oh, another day in the office. But I think it's because of the slide to the 5th. He maybe think it's like skewing perception or people giving him a little more than he probably deserves. If he is that first round talent at QB,
Yeah, and
Panthers equals bad. Panthers backups more bad.
I mean, I'm not denying that. I'm just saying. Listen, at the end of the day, all I'm looking at is Shedeur was drafted in the 5th round. There was this negative perception about him, and now he's trying to just correct that perception. He's trying to show that no, I was worth a 1st round, 2nd round grade, and let me show you, all you GMs in the NFL, that you were wrong to pass on me. That's all I'm looking at. I knew that Shedeur was this caliber of player coming into the draft. I'm just happy that he's showing and proving people wrong as of this moment, that no, you were wrong to not draft me. That's all I'm looking at. I feel like that's fair. I feel like that's fair to praise him, to be glad that he played well. I'm not saying that he should be the starter, that he should be above Joe Flacco right now. I'm just saying, listen, whatever evaluation I had as him as a QB coming out of Colorado, I feel like he should at least be QB2 on this team. Okay, he was against the Doors. All right, whatever. I mean, whatever. We're
So
not
you
going to be
do
able to
think he
convince
should
you.
be the second QB on the depth chart, at least?
Yeah, I think he should be the second QB on the depth chart. But you know what? We're not going to convince you. It's whatever. Let's move on. Let's get to our predictions, man. Let's get to the NFC North. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a really tough one for me because my team is in the NFC North. This is arguably
Not going to be that tough for me. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, well, there's a lot of questions entering this division. Number one, with the Lions, new coaching staff minus the head coach. You have the offensive coordinator change and the defensive coordinator change. And then you have the Bears with the new head coach who's bringing in a system that's completely different than what Caleb Williams is familiar with. You have the Vikings, you have the new QB, a rookie QB, and then the obviously with the Packers, they drafted Matthew Golden. Jordan Love is healthy this year. But let's get started. So the Green Bay Packers. Let's get it started, man. Here we go. So the Green Bay Packers, bro.
Oh boy.
Yes. All right. Green and
How
yellow.
long is Christian Watson out for? He always hurt.
So Christian Watson, I think he tore his ACL. He might come back. He's actually progressing very well. He's running. I've heard he said that when he runs in a straight line, it doesn't bother him. So he's making a lot of progress. I'm assuming he'll be back towards November, December, which is good, especially when you're a playoff caliber team and you need as many weapons as possible. So as of right now, this is the projected depth chart. We have Romeo Doubs as the left outside receiver. You have Matthew Golden as the right outside receiver. And then you have Jaden Reed in the slot. And then the offensive line, you bring in Aaron Banks from the 49ers. You have Elton Jenkins as the center. Rasheed Walker is still up in the air if he's going to be the starting left tackle or if it's going to be Jordan Morgan. But either or is an okay option. Then you have Sean Ryan, who's mediocre as the right guard. He's not terrible, but he's not great. And then Zach Tom, who's one of the best right tackles in the NFL. Then you have Tucker Kraft, who I like as the tight end. He can block. He can be a receiver as well. And then obviously Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs. And then defensively, you have Rashawn Gary, you have Kenny Clark, you have Devontae Wyatt, who is going to start this year in place of TJ Slayton, who left. I think he went to the Bengals. That's a big loss because he was number one in run stop win rate as a defensive tackle. But Devontae Wyatt, I think he had a limited amount of snaps last year. He recorded 5.5 sacks. So he was really good for us in the limited amount of time that we had him on the field. Then you have Lucas Van Ness, you have Quay Walker, Adrian Cooper, who has the potential to be a superstar at that position. He was really good last year in the limited amount of snaps that he had. Then you have the free agent signing of Nate Hobbs. He just had a procedure, I believe, on his knee not too long ago. He'll be back before the season starts. Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams. I like Evan Williams. I like Xavier McKinney a lot. And Keyshawn Nixon as the right outside corner. Javon Bullard, he's like a safety, a slot corner hybrid that will play during the nickel. And then you have Carrington Valentine as well, who's also going to start for us. And yeah, so that is the offense. That is the defense. So a couple of things about this team. Oh yeah, and also I got to talk a little bit about the draft picks as well, because we drafted some guys. We went heavy offense in the draft, which I really like because last year our offense was kind of a liability in some ways. So we drafted obviously Matthew Golden in the first round, which I really loved. And then round 2, we added depth to the offensive line with Anthony Belton. Round 3, we added another receiver in Xavier Williams from TCU. And then we went edge. We went edge again. And we went defensive tackle. So pretty much mostly defense from there. Then we drafted another offensive lineman in round 7. So that is our draft picks. And here's what I'll say about the Packers. The biggest question marks. I'll just speak for the offense, and then I'll let you go to the defense. Offensively. So last year, Jordan Love, he was banged up for a lot of the season. If you don't remember, the first game of the year, which was against the Eagles in Brazil, which was a horrible field. I think he messed up his knee. I think he had an MCL sprain or something like that. So he was out for a couple of games. And when he came back, he lost a lot of his mobility that made him special. And I want to show you something real quick because this is very important. These are advanced stats on Jordan Love from last year, and 2 stats that are very alarming. Part of this is scheme, but part of this is Jordan Love and his just lack thereof. So when you look at bad throw percentage, Jordan Love is 29th on bad throw percentage.
Is that low or high? That's high. Yeah, that's high.
Okay. My bad. It's high. It's high. Yeah, it's not. That's not good. That's not good. He's 29th. Okay. So, and then when you look at on target percentage, he's very low. He's 29th. So what that tells me is 1, he just wasn't very good, and 2, the scheme that we were running, it wasn't giving him easy opportunities. So with Matt LaFleur and the Packers last year, it was a lot of home run plays. It was a lot of routes that took a long time to progress. It wasn't very easy. It wasn't going to be a one read type of play. You know what I mean? Like he has to go through multiple progressions every single time. And when Jordan Love came back, it was either we're going to run the ball or it's going to be play action. It wasn't a whole lot of easy RPO type plays where it's just like one read, throw it to the wide receiver, throw it to your first progression. It was none of that. And it hurt Jordan Love's accuracy. It hurt Jordan Love, like I mentioned, with those advanced analytics. So with this year, my thing with the Packers is now that Jordan Love is healthy, and now that he's had a full offseason, hopefully to correct some of his mistakes, his mechanics, I want to see Jordan Love. I want to see better play designs that just that gets Jordan Love warmed up. It's not too difficult. He doesn't have to think too much on every play. You're not asking him to do like 7-step drops. It's a 3-step drop. It's a 2-step drop. It's quick throws, quick reads. I don't want to see too many 7-step drops. I don't want to have to see him go through 3 progressions before he's able to make a pass. We got to make it easier for Jordan Love. We don't want him to think too much. That's what I'm looking for with this offense. And I want it to be more pass happy because last year we relied too heavily on the run and we weren't a great running team. Josh Jacobs made us look really good, but that offensive line and the run wasn't very good. So that's what I'm looking for with this offense. And then the last thing, and then I'll let you go to the defensive side. Our wide receivers were one of the worst when it came to dropping the football. We had 3 guys, I think, in the top 20 of drop rate. That was Romeo Doubs, that was Dontavian Wicks, and that was Jaden Reed. So that was another thing that was a problem, was the wide receivers weren't catching the ball when they were open. Or when Jordan Love needed a guy to make a play to help him out, they couldn't do it. So for this season, this is the reason why we got Matthew Golden, because he's fantastic with 50-50 balls. He can stretch the field. He's fast. He's quick. He's a really good route runner. So hopefully with Matthew Golden, he will correct some of those things that the wide receivers were making last year. So that's what I'm looking at for this offense. And what's your thoughts on the defense?
Oh boy, the defense. All right, so I believe you guys, I do like your guys, middle linebackers. I do think Quay Walker is good when he's on his best behavior. He's a solid dude, but sometimes he just does silly stuff, which is uncharacteristic because you played at Georgia, daggone it. Supposed to represent a Bulldog properly. But Edgerrin Cooper, I'm not too sure about Edgerrin Cooper.
Really?
I need to watch more film on him. If you want to chime in and talk about what he brings to the team or what you saw from him, be my guest. But as of right now, I just think he might have been just a decent. I think he was a rookie last year.
He was.
Yeah. So, but I think your secondary, I'd like Javon Bullard, another Bulldog. I like Evan Williams, Xavier McKinney, of course. Nate Hobbs, I'm not too. I think he's a decent. I think he was kind of underrated at one point, but his play might have trailed down towards the end of the year. So y'all need a deep. That makes sense. Yeah. Y'all needed DB help. Y'all went out and got some. So especially after you lost Jair, let Jair walk. So can't be mad at that. You feel the position need. My main problem with this defense here is going to be getting to the QB. Y'all really haven't addressed that at all. Like, you're still running out there with Lucas Van Ness.
Yep.
Still got Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Devontae White. Like, these guys, I'm not confident in these edges to get to the QB. Lucas Van Ness, he hasn't showed me one impressive rep in his 2-3 years he's been in the league. And that's a problem. And Rashawn Gary, he had the potential to be a double-digit sack guy year in and year out, but we just haven't seen him be consistent for an entire season. And he's not that great against the run when he's playing on the line.
Well, yeah. He actually improved in run stopping
Oh, he did.
past season. Yeah, I think he was one of the best at run stop win rate for a defensive lineman. So he
On ball or
improved.
off the ball?
Um, I can't tell you. I
Okay.
think it was probably on the ball, but I can't really tell you definitively which area it was. But all I can say that he has improved as a run stop.
Okay, good. Because I know he's more of a one that like he's probably in that like 250. He kind of like that Micah Parsons type pass rush. You get like you in the 250 range and not like super big or anything. So stopping the run is a little difficult for you. But if he improved in that department, hey, hopefully he improves again. But as far as his pass rushing, Billy, like he just needs to be more consistent because he has what it takes to be a double-digit sack guy, but he just doesn't sometimes. And I know he has a good competition playing in the AFC North. You got a bunch of good tackles. You got Panay Sewell. You got the I think Dan Skipper.
Mm-hmm.
You got Christian Darrisaw, and the Bears just literally just got a tight tackle that's worth something. But
Yep.
yeah, so he has been playing some tough competition. I just don't see this team getting to where they need to be. One, because I still think they need a bona fide wide receiver. One, I like Matthew Golden, but to me, he's more like a high end two that you would want for a competing team. And they need a definitive pass rusher, a guy that you can rely on third downs, third and longs to get your team off the field with a big play. Even if he doesn't get the sack, at least make it tough on the QB. It's just that these guys, and also I'm looking at this team on defense, kind of slow. I mean,
Kind of
they're
slow.
kind of slow.
Okay.
Um, it's like not a lot of sideline to sideline guys. Like they can definitely get out athleted in certain instances, give up plays over the top. Like I seen some training clip plays, and it was like Matthew
Right.
Goins is out there roasting these dudes. But so that's my main concern with this defense, which is probably why I'll have them finishing second in the division because you know we'll get to the other teams.
Yeah,
We'll get to the
we'll
other
we'll
teams.
get to that, which is fair. I mean, that's a fair assessment. You got to remember, people got to remember that the NFC North is arguably the best division in football, and three teams made the playoffs last year. So even if a team finishes second or third, that doesn't mean that they're not going to make the playoffs. That just means that the other teams are just so much better, and they're probably the best team. It might be the best team in the entire conference. So just to let you all know, it's not an insult to say that the Packers or the Vikings or whatever team is the second best team in arguably the best division in football, most competitive division in football. But yeah,
I want what I want from the offense though. So sorry to cut you off. I
no,
just
go
a little
ahead.
tidbit. What I want from the offense and Matt LaFleur, I want him to give, like you said. I think you touched on you said this already, but I want to reiterate it. I want to see more layups for Jordan Love.
Yeah,
Jordan Love to me is kind of like a rhythm QB. If you just get him out the gate, if he stinks it up in the beginning, it's going to be hard for him to get out of that rut. You need to give him some time. You need, like you said, some RPOs, some easy completions, make it to where Matthew Golden is running a slant or an out, and then just get some quick completions on the board so we could get that rhythm going. Because in my opinion, he's like a rhythm QB, like how a rhythm shooter is in basketball. Get him going early, he's going to be great. But if he doesn't get much opportunities to get something going, he's not going to look. He's going to look very average to below average. And I believe, especially with that, I know the injury was probably long behind him, but I still wants to see him get more consistent reps so where he doesn't have to worry about having to rely on his arm. He can start focusing more on his mechanics, getting that foot planted, driving the ball, and using his hips a lot more. Because a lot of times Jordan Love has a very arm throw motion, and it could kind of screw him up in moments because he doesn't get his feet set. He's throwing off his back foot, and it just like sometimes it turns easy 15-yard into you overthrowing it and hitting the safety right in his face mask, and I just don't like that. So yeah, that's what I really want to see. I want to see them get Tucker Kraft involved a lot more too on short yardage and short downs because Tucker Kraft is really good and he's actually pretty good after the catch as well. So I say give him the ball a little bit, 3-4 yards, and have him turn around, try to get some yards after catch. So yeah, the Packers have what they need to be a top team in the East NFC,
mm-hmm.
but they just need a better plan of attack, in my opinion. Because I think Matt LaFleur could do it. It's just sometimes he gets a little too flashy, especially with the personnel that they have. You can't really do that much.
I think one of the things I liked about the draft is that they looked at it and said we need to improve on the wide receiver position. We need to get guys that can get yak. I believe Xavier Williams, he's a gadget guy, but I think he could also get yak potentially, and Matthew Golden. So I like those two guys on the squad because they can do something that the Packers really couldn't do last year. So I believe this season they need to make sure that they can get the receivers and allow the receivers to get yards after the catch. Like we need to see these receivers get some yards after the catch because they weren't really that great at doing that last year. So just easy, just like you mentioned, easy layups. Try to not make it too complicated, not too difficult for Jordan Love. And on the defensive side, here's my thing with the pass rush because I've been hearing some good things about Lucas Van Ness and Devontae Wyatt. I think with Devontae Wyatt, I believe he can be a good player for this defense, for this defensive line, because last year he had limited snaps and he still recorded 5.5 sacks as a defensive tackle. That's really hard. Defensive tackle getting 5.5 sacks is pretty impressive, especially when you're limited in snaps. So I believe Devontae Wyatt will step up. I haven't heard too much about him during training camp. I've heard more about Lucas Van Ness and Edgerrin Cooper, just to give you more information about Edgerrin Cooper. The reason why you probably haven't heard too much is, again, he was a rookie. He was still learning the playbook, so they didn't give him a whole bunch of snaps in 2024. In 2025, I expect to see a lot of Edgerrin Cooper. He's your Fred Warner. He's that caliber, not caliber of player, but in terms of that archetype that you're looking for, who can wreak havoc in the middle or just
they got him
disrupt the
playing
quarterback. Yeah, so he's that type of player, that type of archetype that can potentially make a difference. He adds speed to that Packers defense. He's very explosive. He's very fast. Quay Walker, to a certain extent, he's pretty quick and fast as well. My problem with Quay Walker is his instincts and his it's just certain times he overcommits. He doesn't commit. He doesn't commit when he needs to. He hesitates. There's certain things about Quay Walker that if he just took it upon himself to be smarter on the field, he could be a really good football player for us as well. But I just haven't seen the consistency enough for him. And he's not the greatest tackler either. So Quay Walker, I'm pretty much done with him. But Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt, I still have hope that they can be decent. And last thing about the defense, and then we'll go to the next team. The pass rush as well. I've been hearing about the scheme. Part of the reason why the pass rush isn't generating all these number of sacks or pressures, even though I think we were top 10 in sacks last year. I think it has to do with the scheme as well that I've heard. I've just heard that they commit more to like stopping the run, and then they have the linebackers blitz or something like that. So part of it is scheme, but it is also just the guys have to perform better as pass rushers. So I'm gonna leave it at that. The corners, we'll just have to see with Nate Hobbs. I really don't know. I heard some good things about him in camp, but he has to stay healthy. But yeah, man, we'll get down that road when we're ranking our teams. I'll go a little bit more in depth later on. But let's move on to the next team. I want to talk about the Detroit Lions. Let's get down to it. Detroit, our lads. Here we go. Our lads. So the Lions
are unnecessarily writing them off.
Yeah,
and I don't understand because this roster still has a lot of talent on it.
So the Lions, they pretty much have almost everybody back from the starting lineup from last year.
And they added some help on the defensive end, on the defensive secondary.
Minus who is it? Frank? Was it Frank
Ragnow? He retired, yeah.
He retired, yeah, which is a big deal.
Did you see that clip? It was a rep of Tate Ratledge, and he leveled somebody last night during the preseason game. I said, "Ooh,
really?" Wow, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Yeah, so the Lions, they still have Amon Ra, they still have Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams going to be playing a full season now, which is great. Sam Laporta, Jared Goff, Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery's coming off of that injury. Uh, you still have Taylor Decker. You still have Penei Sewell. You still have a lot of the pieces, a lot of the same pieces that you had from last year. And then when you go to defense, Aiden Hutchinson's coming back, which is great.
Yep.
Coming back from an injury, DJ Reader, McNeil, Marcus Davenport, who's is pretty mediocre, but hey, he's there.
Yeah.
And then you have Jack Campbell, you have Derek Barnes, you have Terry and Arnold, which is I need to see more from Terry.
I'm not Terry and Arnold. He had that was bad, which is surprising from a Bama DB, but
we'll see. But I will say
they
though,
drafted Tyleek Williams.
yeah, Tyleek Williams. He'll come in for according to PFF, he'll come in for like nickel. They'll add him like when they're doing nickel coverage. So, and then you have arguably the best safety tandem in Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. They added DJ Reed as well. So
Big pickup.
Yeah. That is the offense. That is the defense. I'm trying to see real quick. So I think one of the big concerns is like we mentioned when Frank Ragnow, he's gone now. So the center position, they have Graham Glasgow, who it's a bit questionable. So the interior, mainly the center position, we'll see how that goes. But for the most part, the offensive line is pretty well. Lastly, though, the coaching staff. We all know that the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator, they're not there no more. So how are they going to adjust to that? I've been hearing a lot from Dan Orlowski. I've been hearing a lot from other NFL analysts that is very difficult to try to adjust to a different coaching staff, to a different scheme. But what I've heard is that all they did was go in-house. So the guys that were coaching last year, they just got upgraded to offensive coordinator. I don't know about the defensive coordinator. I don't know the history about the defensive coordinator, but I know the offensive coordinator. He was already a part of the Lions last year. So any concerns? Yeah. Any concerns with the Lions?
Well, I was looking at something. I was looking up clips about John Morton, see what the temperature has been with this play calling and scheming up in training camp. And I came across John Gruden in full Lions uniform. So I'm like, did they hire him within the org or something? Or was he just there?
I don't know.
My main concerns with this team obviously is going to be the offensive scheme and how the team adjusts to it. Because talent-wise, they have pretty much the same roster, like you said, as last year, and they still won 13 games?
Yeah, something like that. They won a division. I know that for sure.
Yeah, they won a division. But so yeah, my whole thing is just scheme. Let's see how the scheme works, how the players operate and adjust to the scheme. I don't really have much reservations for their talent. I still think the offensive line will be top of the league. Receiving, they have what they need to. They still got Amon Ra. Jameson Williams is really starting to come into his own as a player. Especially, I think this is a contract year for him, so he's definitely going to want to shine out there. I heard some good things about this Isaac Tesla draft pick that they took in the 3rd round. Still got Jameer Gibbs, Demo. Defensively, I do think it's going to take a little bit for Aiden Hutchinson to get back into his full, like his usual self. I heard he's been doing pretty good in training camp, though, despite, still recovering from injury, still getting better from the injury. Malik McNeil, I'm not too sure how long he's going to be out for, but it's a good thing they drafted Tyleek Williams to step in to that role. But my main problem with this roster would be I don't have one. They just have a really solid unit. Like, I don't know. Like, they have Marcus Davenport as your other side of your defense. It is kind of bleh. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they just need to stay healthy. And what really going to matter is how these players adjust to the new defensive and offensive scheme.
Are you concerned that a lot of their key players especially on defense, are coming back from injury, and then you have to deal with adjusting to a new coach, a new scheme as well on defense. Are you concerned about that? Because like they're coming off of major injuries. Aiden Hutchinson, you mentioned McNeil. Like these are key players that they're going to rely on this year to try to win games, and they're coming back from major injuries, and then they also have to worry about, okay, here's a new defensive coordinator, a new scheme that they're going to have to get accustomed with.
Yeah, that's always a concern, because you could never just be full on. Like, even if you are technically healthy, there's still, you got to get over the mental aspect of trusting to use the part that got injured. Like, we hear from ACL injuries, a lot of these dudes be healthy coming back from ACL injuries, but it's a mental block they have to get over. They put full trust and faith into that leg. But I feel like this team is tough. The culture that they've established is toughness, and these are some tough guys. So I do think, as far as injury will go, I think they'll be ready to go. As far as the defensive scheme, I'm not too familiar with Kelvin Shepard's scheme
Yeah,
on
Kelvin
defense.
Shepard.
I haven't heard anything really. I haven't really heard much of anything coming out of Lions training camp from the beat reporters or any clips or anything like that. So not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. Maybe they're keeping stuff close to the vest for the most part because it is a whole new coaching staff. You don't want to just put out everything you want to do to the media and stuff. But I do think with the culture they've established, I do think the players will be ready to go, and they will go out there and play hard. And the adjustment period shouldn't be grueling for them.
Okay, okay, that's fair enough. Do you think that the Lions have the least amount of questions compared to all the other teams in NFC North?
No, I don't actually,
Okay.
because the only question I would have for the Vikings is JJ McCarthy, who we say who is going to be the guy. That's the only question I have with the Vikings. I like the coaching staff. I like the roster. Thing is with the Lions, it's just literally the coaching staff, and that is a huge part of winning football games.
Hmm. Okay, that's fair. Um, I think we can move on from there. Let's go to the Minnesota Vikings. Um, all right,
The
Minnesota
Vikings, they
Vikings.
had a really good free agency.
They did. They
They
did.
really, they really going for it, which is funny because they got a rookie QB.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you can go for it, but still got a rookie QB. So Minnesota Vikings. We already know Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. He's going to be suspended for some games. Um, and then we have Christian Darrisaw. He's coming back from a major injury. Donovan Jackson, Ryan Kelly that they got from Indianapolis. Will
Good
Fries that they
pickup.
also got from Indianapolis. Ryan O'Neal, TJ Hawkinson. He's going to be back for a full year. He's going to be healthy. JJ McCarthy, as we all know, Aaron
Sleeper
Jones,
fantasy.
and Jordan Mason, who's also, hey,
He was
I've seen some of
serviceable.
I've seen some of the stats. I've seen some of the advanced stats. He's pretty good. He was pretty good for the San Francisco 49ers, and it seems like they're not necessarily going to split carries like 50-50, but they're going to use him a lot, and I believe they're going to use him a lot in short yardage situations, especially in the goal line. So expect that. And then you also have on the defensive side, they added Jonathan Allen. We'll see if Jonathan Allen still has something in the tank. I don't know. He wasn't all that good last year. Harrison Phillips, Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Greenard. Then you have Andrew Van Ginkel, who was really good for them last year. You have Isaiah Rogers. You have Harrison Smith, who's up there in age, but he's still a pretty decent safety. They brought in Jeff Okuda. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's something.
The cornerbacks, Byron Murphy. I like Byron Murphy, but Makai Blackman, Jeremiah Vaughn, like, okay, okay. That's the defense.
Isaiah Rogers.
Yeah, yeah, Isaiah Rogers. Okay, okay, but
That
they
would be, yeah. That secondary is a little. It's something. It's
Oh
something.
yeah, and by the way, their first round pick from Alabama. I forget his name.
Is it Donovan Jackson?
From
That's the only
20
first round pick I
from
see.
2023, I think it was.
Oh, 23.
Yeah, he's a pass rusher, remember?
Oh yeah, Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner. Where is Dallas Turner on this? Am I
Yeah,
missing
what? Yeah,
something?
where is Dallas Turner? Oh,
Yo.
he's the
Oh, I
second
see him. He's
right
behind
outside
Van Ginkel.
linebacker.
He's behind
Yeah.
Van Ginkel. Damn, that's not good. That's not
Oh, he's
good.
a pass rusher, so that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But yes, that is the Minnesota Vikings 2025 depth chart. Any thoughts? How do you feel about this Vikings team?
I still think this Vikings team is good enough to where if JJ McCarthy is even just decent, they can win 9-10 games because the roster is just very talented. I do want to see how the new additions will mesh with the team. I do think Ryan Kelly is a good center as well as Will Freeze, but Jonathan Allen, while he didn't have he had pretty much a down year last year with the Commanders, even though they went to the championship game. I still think he has a lot. He has some juice to give. What I was hearing with the reason why John Allen had a down year with the Commanders is because him and Deron Payne didn't really mesh well as far as leadership goes. Like it was they was butting heads a lot, so they couldn't really establish a kind of like I guess culture on the D line or whatever, something like that. So that's why they chose to keep Deron Payne over John Allen. So I think this time around, they got him at D end on here. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm interested to see how that works. But yeah, I think they had a good free agency class. They went out, got some depth guys, got some starters. They're gearing up because they have money to spend and they're gearing up. Unfortunately, Jordan Addison got suspended, but Jalen Naylor showed quite a bit last year to where he could step in for a couple games and you won't want to jump out the window. But this all really boils down to how JJ McCarthy progresses or how he performs this year, as it's technically his rookie season because we all knew he was hurt last year. So this is what it's really going to boil down to. He has sufficient weapons. TJ Hawkinson is a very good tight end, short yardage. He'll get you what you need. Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, still the best receiver in the NFL. I know he's dealing with hamstring, I believe, which is, if you know about hamstrings, they just linger, which is unfortunate because he dealt with that. I believe that was 2023. He dealt with the hamstring. So I still think they'll be good. You got Aaron Jones, who he's up there, but he still had a pretty solid year last year. You picked up Jordan Mason, which is a good pick. So they got enough. They got enough to make something shake. It's just up to JJ McCarthy and how the coaching staff develops him.
Right. I think.
Fortunately, his vet is Sam Howell.
Yeah.
So that doesn't spark much confidence, but
yeah, we'll see. I've heard mixed reviews about JJ McCarthy. Again, he's a rookie, so you're gonna get one day he looks good, one day he looks bad. I think with JJ McCarthy, I don't expect him to have a Jaden Daniels type of season where he just not off the rip, but for the most part, for the entire season, majority of the season, he looked great. I don't think he's going to look that way. I think he'll be more of a one of those rookies that he'll be okay. I expect him to not turn the ball over too much. I just wonder, JJ McCarthy, how well does he need to play in order for this team to get back to where they were last year? Because Sam Darnold was phenomenal for this team last year. He was slinging the football. He wasn't afraid to make mistakes. He was getting the ball to the receivers. He was getting the ball to playmakers. The offense was one of the best in football. I remember to start the year, people were saying, damn, are the Vikings the best team in football? And then towards the end of the season, even though they didn't win the division, they won like 13, 14 games in one of the toughest, matter of fact, the toughest division in football. So I'm curious to see, can JJ McCarthy replicate that, or is he going to be worse than what Sam Darnold did the previous season? And if he is worse than Sam Darnold, is that going to be enough to get them back to where they were last year?
In
That's
my
my biggest
opinion,
question.
J.J. McCarthy needs to be better than Sam Darnold in big games. Because every time a big game was on the schedule, outside of maybe like
The
the
Packers.
Texans or something like that, Packers, Sam Darnold kind of was a mouse. He was a mouse in those moments. If J.J. McCarthy, who has played in big games in his career at Michigan, won a national championship for crying out loud, but if he can step up in those big games, especially within the division, I think it'll be a good result for them.
One of the things that I've heard about JJ McCarthy is he's he's trying to improve on like certain type of throws. He's like a fast ball type of thrower where he's just throwing the ball like very fast with
Just
a lot
just
of
gas, yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Not
So
much touch, yeah.
he's that's what he's working on right now. Like he's still trying to get better in like certain type of throws. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna work when we get to the regular season, if he's gonna have trouble or not. But again, I've heard mixed things about JJ McCarthy. It's like one practice he looks good, the next practice he looks horrible. So is that gonna come around in the regular season where we're just going to have games where we're like, damn, is JJ McCarthy a starting caliber QB? Is JJ McCarthy, was he worth the first round pick? I don't know, but we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Let's move on to the last team. Let's move on to the
This one,
Chicago Bears.
I don't know what to
Boy,
think about these dudes.
let's go. Let's go. Chicago Bears.
Another team I think had a pretty solid free agency class. But man, what I've been hearing out of the Commanders, I say Commanders. Ooh, see, work done corrupted me. Got me thinking about that team all the time. Bears. What I'm hearing from the Bears, beat camp people at the training camps, the clips. Man, it's a rough adjustment period. I'll say that much.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the depth chart for the Chicago Bears. Um, you have Romo Dunze, who's back for a second season. Obviously, DJ Moore, Zacchaeus. They got him from Washington. Braxton Jones, Joe Thuney. They really upgraded this offensive line. It's actually pretty good now. Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, Darnell Wright that they drafted back in 23. And then you draft Colston Loveland. I like Colston Loveland. He's been a standout in camp so far. And then obviously Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift, Roshan Johnson. Then defensively, you have Montez Sweat, Gervin Dexter Sr., Grady Jarrett that they brought. Yeah, Gervon, whatever. Grady Jarrett. And then you have TJ Edwards. You have Tremaine Edmonds. You have Tyreek Stevenson, who they still have starting in corner. And then you also have Jaquan Brisker. You have Kevin Byard, Jalen Johnson, who's an outstanding corner for them.
He's
and
hurt.
Kyle Ford. I don't know. I guess he is hurt.
He got the injury designation on him. I wonder what's wrong with him.
Yeah. So
Let me see.
that is the Bears starting team for the offense and the
Non-football injury.
Yeah. So, what is your thoughts on the Chicago Bears this upcoming season?
The Bears did a good job addressing needs, position of needs in the off season. They just have to make Caleb Williams the QB that he was projected to be coming to the league. And people say the Ben Johnson scheme is very difficult to learn, especially for a young QB. But I feel like if they just work diligently with him, I think Caleb should be able to adjust. Now, there's been a lot of bad clips floating around social media of him throwing picks, a lot of bad news coming out of the Commanders, Chicago media saying how Caleb Williams isn't looking that good. He's not doing good in 11-on-11 periods. Joint practices, he's not performing well. But I still think there needs to be some grace given because last year he had to go through 2 different play callers. And then they weren't even, I want to say, they're in the Hard Knocks, like they weren't even like watching film with him, I think. He
No.
like this is all a really big adjustment. Like, I don't think I understand. He got drafted into dysfunction. So you got to give him. I know he's supposed to be this talented generational type prospect, blah blah blah. But still, QB situations matter more than the player themselves. So until they can get something established, something concrete, I'm not going to judge him as harshly as probably everyone else is. I'm
Okay.
just not. And I know he has talent. He has DJ Moore. He has uh um Coastal
Romo
Lovely. They just
Dunze.
drafted him. They got Romo Dunze. They drafted Luther Burden. I wonder how good he's been doing in camp. They got decent run game, but defense actually is pretty good for the most part. But I still cannot judge or write off Caleb Williams off of training camp stuff. I just think that's kind of silly. I do expect this team. I do think they will come last in the division again, but it's not going to be like a disaster like last year was, where they won like 3 games and then just like lost like 8 straight or something crazy like that. So I do think Ben Johnson is going to lay the foundations this year, and then next year we can really fully get into expectations for this team, and in terms of them being contenders or wanting to contend.
Yeah, I think this team, it boils down to the development of Caleb Williams at the end of the day. I believe if he plays well, then that's a home run for the season. If he doesn't play well, then everything that the Bears tried to do was for nothing, really. Like, it doesn't matter if the defense is good. It doesn't matter if the run game is good. If Caleb Williams isn't good, then that's a major problem. I'm looking. Let me show you something real quick. I have, just like with Jordan Love, I have some stats that I want to show you. The same stats as well when it came to Caleb Williams. So let me share my screen real quick. So here we go. Just like with Jordan Love last year, there's context behind these stats, but in terms of bad throws, Caleb Williams was 34th on bad throw percentage. And then when we look at target percentage, Caleb Williams was 30th. So there's
Not
context.
ideal.
There's context behind this. One, the offensive scheme was not ideal for Caleb Williams. He had to sit back in the pocket a lot of times, and it took a long time to get through his progressions, and the offensive line wasn't the greatest. But at the same time, he needed to work better. At times, he just wasn't accurate enough. And I want to show you something else. I'll show you a little bit later. But the wide receivers were catching balls. Like, they weren't dropping passes. So a lot of times it was just on him. He just wasn't putting the ball in the correct space. He wasn't being accurate enough. And it showed itself on film. It showed itself throughout the season. And that's why they weren't able to get the offense going as much as they should have with the weapons they had on the field. So
As
with
well
this
as
season,
Shane Waldron.
yeah, Shane Waldron, I mentioned part of that is because of Shane Waldron. So with this season, with this upcoming season, what I'm looking for Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson is to make Caleb Williams' life easier, to not make it too difficult, not run all these plays where Caleb Williams is dropping back like 7-step drops, dropping back, having to go through 1, 2, 3 progression before he's able to finally deliver the football. Like, we have to make it easier, just like with Jordan Love. We have to make it easier for Caleb, not have to have him think too much. One read, 3-step drop, deliver the football, quick passes. Stop trying to make it to where Caleb Williams is, oh, he's this generational QB, so we can just throw the entire playbook onto him and we can develop these complex plays that he's supposed to run and he's going to master on the fly. Like, no, let's take our time. And then once he gets through this portion of the playbook, then we can start getting to the other portion of the playbook and we can start having him run that stuff because he has developed over time. So like you mentioned, it's going to be a process. Let him progress, let him get comfortable with these certain number of plays, and then we can go to the other more complex, more just methodical type plays that's going to require him to think even more. That's what I hope I don't hope them to do, but that's what the Bears need to do if they want to develop Caleb Williams
What
into a good quarterback.
what people don't understand about Caleb Williams, and he's a local guy, so I was able to talk around people who cover like the high school scene around here, and get some perspective on how he was as a player in high school. Caleb Williams, since high school, has always been the offense. Like, he was the offense at Gonzaga in DC, and they didn't really do much developing there. Like, he was just out there out talenting dudes. He was making crazy throws, all type of stuff. In college, same thing. Lincoln Riley, as far as a QB guru he is, he ain't really teach him how to play the position. He was just out there telling them, hey, go make a play. And as we've seen, people were saying this is going to be hard to translate to the NFL because NFL is more structured. You need to be on schedule more. You need to be able to read the defense properly and adjust the coverages and looks they give you, and being able to be like, hey, this receiver is going to be here at this time. You need to hit him. We're not doing all this running around trying to look for the big play every time. We need you to take the layups too. So that, and then last year, Shane Waldron ain't really do much implementing that either. Them play calls was garbage. So this is really his first year with a coordinator and a play caller that's going to challenge him to play within a system instead of being the system of the team.
Playing more in structure, playing more on timing, ball placement, those type of things. When you mentioned Lincoln Riley, you got to remember, like, he was in an air raid offense. Like, air raid offense is very simple, not too complex. So he's going to be very comfortable in an air raid offense. While now you're in the NFL, more pro style offense, it's a lot more that goes into that offense and ball placement and timing and different things. It's a lot bigger in terms of the playbook and the plays and stuff that you have to remember.
The calls and signals and all of that, yeah. Adjustment at the line.
Right. So he's gonna be tested a lot this year. And will he prevail or will he fail remains to be seen. But just what I've been hearing so far during camp, just like with JJ McCarthy to a certain extent, where there will be some days where he's struggling. There will be some days where he's all right. Like right now, just recently, I've heard he played pretty well in training camp. So it's a mixed bag with Caleb Williams right now. I don't believe he's going to be bad this year. I believe he'll show instances of brilliance. He'll show a lot of his talent. But then there will be moments where the offense looks pedestrian. It looks lethargic. It looks like they don't know what they're doing on the field. So it's all about progression at the end of the day. I just think this is a year where the expectations should be low for the Bears. Just hope that Caleb Williams can develop as a good quarterback because, like I've heard from a lot of NFL analysts, he's pretty much back to stage one again because this is a whole new system, a whole new way of thinking football, and he didn't really learn much last year from the previous regime. So now he's back to stage one again. Hopefully, he can learn and he can progress instead of resorting back to the same old flaws that he was doing the previous season. So that's really what I'm looking at with the Bears.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I said, it's a lay the foundation type year. I wouldn't expect him to win more than 7 games, honestly.
Oh yeah, and by the way, Nick Wright, you're part of the problem when it comes to Caleb Williams. You put a lot of expectations, a lot of these big expectations on Caleb Williams, talking about by the end of the season, he'll be the best quarterback in the NFC North. You need to calm down. That's too big of an expectation for Caleb Williams. Let's just hope he gets better. Let's just hope that he improves and shows that he's a starting caliber QB that's worth the number 1 pick. He doesn't have to be freaking Jaden Daniels rookie year to be considered a good quarterback. Let's lower the expectations, all right? Because Nick Wright, he's one of those dudes that when he falls in love with the quarterback, he's going to put all these expectations on him. Let's temper our expectations. Let's just hope that he progresses, that he gets better, and that he looks like a starting caliber quarterback. And we don't have to worry about drafting another quarterback next season. So, anywho, let's get to ranking the 4 teams in the NFC North. I'll let you start, Brian.
All right. So first team, I'm gonna go with the Lions. I think they have the best roster in my opinion in the conference. I mean division. Uh all of the main guys are coming back. I know it's going to be maybe a little adjustment period because they got new coaching. That's the biggest question, in my opinion, is how will the coaching be and how will the players adjust to the new schemes they got to learn. But I do think Dan Campbell is a really good coach. He's established a culture of toughness and playing good football. So I do think that'll continue into the next year. I do have them first. Secondly, I'm going to go with the Packers because they dealt with a lot of injury last year and it was just bad. They had a solid they did make some good additions in the free agency and also through the draft. Matthew Golden is a big pickup for them, especially in absence of Christian Watson, to where Matthew Golden, he's going to be relied on a lot, especially on third down, in my opinion, where he's going to be able to, he runs pretty much every route in the route tree and he has great hands. So you can rely on him in a pinch to really go out there and make a play. I do expect them to still rely on the Josh Jacobs a bit in the run game. I do want them to make things easier for Jordan Love instead of having him try to be a world beater with not world beater weapons. I'll say that at the least. I want to see Tucker Kraft get more involved as well. Short dump off, short passes, run a 3-yard, run a comeback turnaround, something like that. Defensively, I do have some concerns with them as far as rushing the passer, but Aaron said they seem to be doing better out of the camp from what he's heard out of training camp. So hey, it's yet to be seen though. But I got them second, and with Matt LaFleur, he just got to lock in. Third team, I'm going with the Vikings. Love the roster. Big questions about JJ McCarthy because this is technically his rookie season starting. So we're gonna see how Kevin O'Connell. Is it Connor or Connell?
I think it's
Connor.
O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell, I think it is.
Okay, yeah, Kevin. We're gonna see how the head coach makes how smooth his adjustment is to the NFL from Kevin. Love the roster though, really do. Fortunately, Jordan Addison suspended for 3 games. That's going to be kind of a big hit, but they do have depth. They do have depth on the offensive end, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. He'll come back. It's not like he's injured or anything. So as soon as week 4 starts, he'll be ready. He'll be fresh, ready to go. Fourth team is going to be the Bears because I don't expect too much out of the Bears this year. What I want to see from the Bears is progression from Caleb Williams and how well does he adjust to Ben Johnson's offensive scheme because it is notoriously difficult from what everyone has been saying around the league. So that's what I want to see. I'm expecting the Bears to probably win no more than 7 games, which is fair for them. We just need to see how Caleb Williams progresses. That's really what this whole first year is going to be about. Laying the foundation of what kind of team they will be and the progression of QB1 Caleb Williams.
You make a lot of great points, especially about the Bears as well and the Vikings. So I have a similar, matter of fact, mine is pretty much the same. I agree with you. I think the Lions are number 1, although they are having a different offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. It's a veteran group, and they're bringing back a lot of the same guys outside of Frank Ragnow, who retired. But I still like their offensive line. They drafted a guy in the 2nd round out of Georgia, so I believe they'll be fine in the offensive line, minus the center, obviously. And they still have Jahmyr Gibbs, who I think is a stud. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Jared Goff. I believe at this stage of his career, I don't think there should be any worry about, Jared Goff, he's a Ben Johnson or a Sean McVay merchant. I think he'll be fine even without Ben Johnson, as long as they have a good enough OC who's been in the Lions. He's been in the Lions program for a minute now, so I think he'll be fine in that end. And the defense as well. They have good enough talent. I don't know about the corners, but they have good enough talent as it is. So I feel comfortable with the Lions. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Packers. I just think with the Packers, here's my thing. I think they're 1 year away. They're a good team. They brought in some pieces. I like Jeff Hafley as the defensive coordinator, although I worry that, recent memory, when the defensive coordinator has been the defensive coordinator for the second year. They don't normally do well the second year, but we'll see. I believe he'll be fine. They brought in some defensive talent. Well, defensive talent is going to develop even more, and they brought in Nate Hobbs, so we'll see. But I think the development of the pass rush I'm looking at, and also Nate Hobbs as well. And then offensively, I like the additions that they made in the draft with offensive line help, and then you bring in 2 wide receivers, especially Matthew Golden, who's going to help a lot when it comes to drop rate percentage. And then Jordan Love is going to be healthy this year. I just think they're youth, and I believe they need 1 or 2 more pieces in order for me to legitimately put them over a veteran-savvy Detroit Lions team. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Vikings. I agree with you. I just think they're too talented. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, he's going to be out for a few games, but they still have good enough talent on the field. And defensively, they're also really good. Remember, they still have Brian Flores. Brian Flores as the defensive coordinator. Okay. Yeah, so they still have Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator who's really good, comes from the Belichick tree. And we'll see what J.J. McCarthy looks like. I don't think he's going to be terrible, but I don't think he's going to replicate what Sam Darnold did the previous season. I don't think he's going to be that good because he's a rookie and because he's still working on some things mechanically as a passer. So that's where I'm at with it. I think Vikings are 3, and then 4th, I'm going with the Chicago Bears. I just think with the Chicago Bears, it's just too much of an adjustment for Caleb Williams at this point that I should expect them to all of a sudden be the second best team or the best team in the division. I just think that is
unrealistic.
That's just unrealistic for us to assume that all of a sudden now Ben Johnson as the head coach is the difference between the 4th place team and now the 1st place team or the 2nd place team. Like I don't think
a good division, by the way.
Nah,
if this was the NFC South, I'd give you a little. But
this was the AFC South or the NFC South, I'd be like, you know what? I think he could be the difference in terms of winning a division. But with the NFC North and these good caliber coaches and good rosters, I just don't think he's gonna be good enough to get them over the hump where we can finally say, all right, the Bears can contend now. The Bears can make the playoffs. I just think they're the 4th best team. I think they're the 4th best team given the circumstances, given the fact that Caleb Williams is going to pretty much have to learn a whole new playbook and have to change some of the things that he has done in the past. Like he's going to have to correct a lot of his flaws, a lot of the tendencies that he's done from his USC days to his first day with the Chicago Bears, first year with the Chicago Bears. That's going to be very difficult for him. So I believe the Bears, I think they can win 8 games, but I'm not expecting them to make the playoffs. I'm not expecting them to be better than the Vikings or the Packers or the Lions. So that's my rankings. That's how I look at it.
I agree. You had some great points.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it for this episode of Courtside View Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials as well. And we'll see you guys in the next episode of Courtside View Podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Salute.
All right. All right.